Hello and good evening, my two babies. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while since I had a story to tell you, but I'm so grateful for those of you who have come to my channel to listen to my stories. Like I said, I'm just an old hag on hospice, dropping gems to the masses. And so I'm so grateful. Please like and subscribe and share with all your on your media platforms and things of that nature. And please come back for more of my stories. I hope you enjoy. Now, this story is about a family. Well, more so two sisters in conflict. And this is a two-part story because it's a generational curse type of story, okay? So this first part of the story, which I'll come back later and tell you about it, but this first part of the story was about two sisters that was raised down south in Louisiana, and their mother was one of five women that was raised on a plantation. All five sisters had PTSD. They was crazy. That's what everybody would say. But they wasn't really crazy. They just had been tortured and tormented so much that they really was a little twitchy. Okay, so these women went on about their life, and so one of the women had two daughters, and one of the daughters was real fertile. She was real fertile, but she was sickly. And this woman was a mean woman. This woman, she was so mean to one of the daughters, the one that was sickly and was fertile. She was so mean to her, but the other one she favored. Nobody ever knew why she favored that particular daughter, but the one that she had that was fertile, she ended up having five children. Okay, she had three. No. She had six children. Excuse me, charge it to my head and not my heart, baby. So she had six children. She had four boys and three and excuse me, she had two boys and four girls. Bless my heart, Lord have mercy. She had four girls and two boys, okay? And so the mama was so mad that the other baby daughter could not have babies. See, this woman, the first daughter, we just gonna call her Ann, okay? And then the second daughter, her name was Lizzie. So Ann was able to have a baby and have multiple babies, but Lizzie was not able to have no babies at all. And so the mother being so evil the way she was, she when Ann had her last baby, which was a little girl, she arranged this pregnancy with one of her friends. So her daughter was not of an age that would have been appropriate for this man to go ahead and have a baby with her. It was an inappropriate arrangement, but she went ahead and did it anyway. And the mother had a mission. She already knew that she was going to go ahead and have Ann give Lizzie her last baby daughter. And so Ann had the baby, and the daughter before the baby daughter, her name was Terry, and Terry was about 6 years old when her mama had the baby, the last baby. And so the grandmama made Ann give up the baby to Lizzie. And the mama cried, and Ann cried and cried and cried, and Terry remembered like it was yesterday. She remembered her mother in her pink gown and dropping tears on that pink gown, and Terry held on to her leg while she watched her mother give her baby sister to her auntie. Now, Lizzie and her husband, because she was married but she wasn't able to conceive, took this baby up to the west coast of California. And they raised this baby, and they was good to the baby. Now, the grandmother hated this particular baby. This baby had a gift of song. She would sing everywhere, and Lizzie made sure the baby had the best blouses and bras and everything that she could imagine. She was raised as an only child. Now, though she had the best life she could have, she was very lonely, okay? And so Lizzie raised her up in the 60s. She was born in the 40s, but she was raised up in the 60s. And, she went through all of the trials and the tribulations, that all the segregation and integrations and all the stuff that everybody had to go through during that times. And when she turned about 17, now she would go and visit her supposed cousins in the summer, and they would come visit, and she always thought that they was her cousins. But Terry knew that that was her sister, and everybody else knew that was the sister after a while. But Terry was the one that could remember and remembered and knew and was asking questions all the time. And so when the baby girl had turned about 17, her auntie, who she thought was her auntie, passed away. And that's when she discovered that it was actually her mother. And she was so attached to her supposed mother, Lizzie. She was in denial. She had a little bit of cognitive dissonance because she just could not accept that that was not her mother. And it did something to her because, she always thought that that was her auntie, and she just could not and would not accept that that was her mother who had passed away. And she felt deep down inside that she never really got a chance to know her mother. And her grandmother hated her so badly. She was a mean woman, and she vowed to herself that whenever she had grandchildren, she was never going to be called grandma. She couldn't handle it. She didn't want to be called grandma. She wanted to be called Nana because she knew, and she felt like if she was anything like her grandmama, she didn't want to be affiliated with that. So she grew up and never even know the fact that her grandmother was the one that made her mother give her up to her auntie, and was raised that way the entire time. And the saddest part about the story is that this is the way that things was in the South. That a lot of us grew up, and a lot of people grew up with family thinking that it was their mother, but it was their auntie, or their mother got pregnant young, and so they grew up thinking it was their sister, but it was their mother, and things like that. And so, she grew up and had her own children. But the saddest part about that is the favoritism. It wasn't so much favoritism, but the daughters that she birthed had there was a strain between them from the time that they was born. But the time that the baby girl was born, excuse me. And so that's a whole nother story because it ends up so tragic. Oh my goodness, it ends up so tragic. But this baby thought that her auntie was her auntie. Was her auntie, and it was actually her mother, and the one she thought was her mother was her auntie. And so the moral of this story is this: families need to not keep secrets. Sometimes you do need a village to take care of a child. Well, not sometimes, all the time. But you need to tell these babies the truth, because then you steal from them their identity and they don't know who they are. And then they have this deep rooted, feeling that they just can't connect to something, or something is missing, but you done gaslit the baby all their life. And so they raise their children, and it becomes a curse because they continue on in the same cognitive dissonance, and they lose the ability to deal with reality because the reality has been distorted. So if you're listening to this, please tell your babies the truth. Keep it real with the babies. Be real, raw, and uncut, because you don't want them to live in a place of deception. You want them to know, and you want them to be able to navigate through this world with confidence and with an awareness and their ability to trust what it is that they seeing and what they feeling. So, if you got any babies, please, for the sake of living, tell them the truth, because you don't want them having to work through all their problems and the lies that's been told. And then you give the baby a sense of paranoia. They don't know who they can trust. They don't know what they feeling. And it just becomes a disaster. And right now, these babies need to know where their people's coming from. They need to know that their parents is real peoples and that they just not parents, that they human beings too, that they got feelings. And I'm not saying to tell your baby all your problems. I'm not saying that, but the baby should know you more than anybody else. They came from you. So why would they not know the person that they came from? So show your babies who you are. Tell them your stories, where you've been. Give them the ability to know what the truth absolutely is, because there's no future in the front. And I've been here long enough to know that it takes a lifetime to break these curses. It takes a lifetime to get to the truth of things. And you don't want to be at my age, almost gone and dead, before you learn what the reality is, okay? So that's the moral of the story. Today is a short story, and I pray that the Father willing, I will be back to share with you some more so part 2 of this story, because it's more to this sibling thing. And so I thank you for coming. I pray that the Father in heaven bless you abundantly. I pray that you seek him and you pray without ceasing, because this is the times that we in, and a lot of us is kicking the bucket and hitting the grave. So I just want to thank you, know that I love you, and please go share this with your family and your friends. If you like my stories, come back for more. And go share it on your platforms, your media platforms, with all your friends, okay? And I'll see you next time. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.